On this episode of WETalk, we are with our previous guest, Dr. Pavlo Kolesnyk, and following up the medical situation in Ukraine. Shlomo Vinka, together with Thomas Fries, is hosting this episode, which was recorded on the 31st of May 2022.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So it's good to see you again, Pavlo, and to see you again also, Mehmet and Thomas. I think that we should wait a few minutes to others to participate. And of course, the low number of people that registered to this meeting in comparison to the previous one means that it is important for us, and especially for you, Pavlo, and your people in Ukraine, to see how you keep the crisis, the war, relevant to everybody, because I presume that this kind of, let's say, fatigue, which is here, maybe it is common to many other countries, to many other people, to many other organizations. And as it seems like now we cannot see yet the end of the war, and of course we cannot project what will be and when it will be. And of course, you in Ukraine still need continuous support from everybody around in the countries around you, and also abroad in other countries in Europe, in other countries of the world, because without this support from outside, I presume that things for you will be much more difficult, and you will have some obstacles to cope with that. I'm sure that our help can be relevant to you. So I asked at the beginning the audience to ask questions, and you will go through the questions and try to modify and to fit your lecture to the questions of the audience. And also, I think that we should be focused to see how we can keep interest worldwide, and how we can continue our support to you and to your people in Ukraine.
Yeah, thank you, Shlomo. Yeah, actually, this is a WETalk that Pavlo will update on the medical situation in Ukraine. And I think there will be some time for question and answers. And I will be happily giving the word to our colleagues who would like to have kind of contribution. Maybe Thomas, would you like to say a few words also as the president-elect of the WONCA Europe?
Yeah, thank you, Mehmet. I'm really happy, Pavlo, that you are with us today. As Shlomo already mentioned, I think it's quite important that we keep up support for Ukraine, keep up support for the people who suffer, and get an update of the situation of general practice and of the situation of the people in your country. I'm seeing that the auditory is filling up. I see many well-known friends and colleagues from Europe, and I'm sure that this WETalk will help us to keep the activity and to keep support, to motivate people to donate and to support in other ways all your activities and the people in your country. We will have the WETalk now with an approximately 15 minutes presentation and some other 15 minutes approximately to answer questions. All who are in the auditory can put questions in the chat, but better in the Q&A section of the chat. And after the presentation and the update from Pavlo, we will discuss these questions and turn the answers to you. So Pavlo, the floor is yours. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear friends and my dear close authorities of WONCA. So, Mr. President, Mr. Ex-President, Mr. President-elect. So all of you are my really very good friends, and but still you are on the very high position. So I appreciate those who came to visit this WETalk tonight. despite of your family businesses and so on. So thank you for being here together with us. In the beginning, let me introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I am Pavlo Kolesnyk. I'm a family doctor. I have a PhD in family medicine. I'm a head of the family medicine and outpatient care department of Uzhgorod National University. So I've been a faculty member and also a practitioner for almost 25 years. I am also a council member and the head of the International Affairs Department, and I was happy to have many people from WONCA world and we accepted them as guests in Kiev, which was very hospitable and very peaceful that time. Unfortunately, not anymore. I am a council member of WONCA Europe, of Euract, EGPRN, and EuroPrev. So of these 4 very honored organizations. So where I'm from, it is meaningful for my presentation because I can say that I'm from the small town of Uzhgorod in the western Ukraine, which is the capital of Transcarpathian region. And this is a town bordering with Slovakia and Hungary, and the population is very small, 100,000 of population it used to be before war. What is the current situation in my country? Unfortunately, the war is going on. Number of the regions are under aggressors' attacks, and it is spreading like a cancer. You can see bombing areas marked in red on the map of Ukraine. So unfortunately, it's really looks like cancer spreading all over the body of the country. The number of victims among military and civilians estimates tens of thousands. More than 300 children have been killed because of bombing in different parts of Ukraine. A lot of our country members, they became victims of very aggressive attacks of people. They were civilians, but they had these attacks, and we know about this. We have the continuous waves of refugees from all parts of Ukraine to the Western Ukraine, because it seems the safest region in the whole Ukraine. And also we have people coming back home from abroad, from Europe, again to the Western Ukraine, because they feel safe here. And it made our town, small town, which had, as I told you, 100,000 of population before. Now it's 150,000 of population already. So 50,000 came to Ukraine, to Uzhgorod right now. What is the current situation in the country and in Uzhgorod right now? Yes, we are comparing with the other regions. We are safe place in the country, but every day and night alarm became our life's routine. Number of Ukrainian refugees leaving Ukraine from leaving Europe from Ukraine for Ukraine, and more than those fleeing to Europe. So you see, we have more comers back to Ukraine than they moved abroad, which we saw in the beginning of the war. The population, as I said, remained the same. So 150, so 100 of the local population and 50 of refugees. And as Shlomo said, I like this expression, and I use this in my presentation. Really, neither of the top news can be in the public eye forever. That's why we see that it's kind of fatigue from Russian-Ukrainian war in Europe. I understand it pretty well. The shock from the situation in Ukraine can hardly correlate with the established European way of life. It's hard to think always about the disaster somewhere. But instead of passive contemplation of what is happening in Ukraine, all of you who are present at this meeting have chosen the path of helping our struggle. And we are grateful to you for this support. This is really important for us. I had a very good tip from my friend Shlomo Winker to collect the data in the beginning of making this spontaneous volunteer medical work, and we started to collect the medical data to our computer, which we bought using the donations from our friends from Europe. So the first computer, the first laptop was bought from your donations, and now it's collecting our data. And we succeeded to have at least 600, almost 600 of medical information, about 600 refugees which came to our medical site or hub. I can't say it's a clinic because it's not right now. And we had a possibility to compare 3 weeks after collecting the data and 7 weeks after collecting the data, and we have some interesting data to share with you. First of all, number of refugees visitors from Kiev region has significantly decreased because people fled back home. So the central Ukrainian refugees, they started to go back home. As I told you before, my house was full of people. My brother and his family members came from Kiev. Now they are gone. So my house is almost empty. Only my nephew is living with us, and the refugee cat is living with us. So I mean, now we see that central Ukraine refugees are going back home. Those who have their homes remain safe, but not everybody has this. Number of refugees from south and other regions which were destroyed by war had increased. So we see it on this on the graph. They are significantly increasing during these 2 weeks or 3 weeks which we compared. And we see other regions which are now occupied by Russians. They have no place to go back. That's why they remain here in Uzhhorod. We consider that this is the population which we have to serve in future and provide medical service there, which we have to accommodate here somewhere. And we have another problem, where to accommodate people who live in the dormitories and at schools, because sooner or later we have to get back to the education and offline education. And our dormitories are full. Our schools are full of refugees. Where to accommodate these people? And it's a very big problem for the city. So we see that number of female refugee visitors is constantly higher than the male refugees, which is obvious because we understand that male remain in the eastern and southern Ukraine, and they defend their land, and their wives, sisters, and kids, they come to our safe region to escape from war. No changes as the age groups of the visitors, as for the age groups of the visitors. So we see that major of the population are people more than 50. The smaller amount is the middle age, and we see there are a lot of kids. Also, over 30% are kids who are visiting our medical hub. Thanks to the advertising of the Medical Volunteer Center, the number of visitors has increased during these few weeks, which we started to work. So the top 6 leading medical reasons for the refugees visiting the Medical Volunteer Center, which is interesting to show you. And I will start with the way of collecting the data. Just maybe 3 years ago, we just implemented ICPC as the method of collecting medical data in the primary care, and now ICPC, which is the new idea for Ukraine. Now it helps us to collect data in a very, very precise and very quick way, because we collect the information about chief complaint. We take the information about the diseases, and we have some information about prescriptions and referrals. So it's easy to collect it. It's easy to compose the information, and it's easy to analyze. As you see, maybe those of you who have some understanding of ICPC and the codes, if you use it in your country. So you see the codes are below on the table, and these are coding according to the ICPC. If you see it on the slide, we see that the major problem and the major reason of coming diagnosis and the same prescription we have for respiratory diseases meanwhile. And we have splashes of respiratory during last 2 weeks. We have increased level of respiratory diseases. Maybe it's because of living in shelters, because of crowded population. I don't know, but we have to figure it out why. We have some small splashes of COVID, but not too many. Cardiovascular diseases are as usually on the second place, and we see that they are main reasons of coming on the second place. So bones and skeleton diseases are on the third level, and we have neurological diseases, endocrinological diseases, and skin diseases, which are pretty often reasons of coming and visiting the shelter. The medical center. What help could be of the best for this time for us? We have to say in general that the help should be delivered from Europe only to the most trusted recipients who provided its loyalty for the donor, but by its past deeds and accomplishments. This is really important. Any help to the recipient should be time-bounded and provided step by step. There should be a properly balanced distribution of financial and non-financial help, which is also very important to mention. Being accountable to donor, the recipient should be free as to disposing the received aid to its own will. And now about our needs and our ideas. In my case, I can see your possible future help to my team in the following. First of all, we see, as you can see, that fatigue is in Europe, fatigue from war is in Europe, observing the disaster in Ukraine. You can imagine how big is fatigue of our volunteers working in the during war in the centers for almost 3.5 months. It's hard, and to my mind, we have to understand it. This volunteerism, it's not eternal. That's why we have to understand that we have to spend some financial donations, and we started this kind of stipend to pay the volunteer for their work, not to burn out totally. That's why people work for very, very small salary, which we call stipend. And it doesn't matter what professional level do they have. Are they receptionists, or are they just nurses, or maybe family doctors? So I mean, they have the same stipend. And this help of the helpers is really needed to support the team to go forward. We need to cover the running costs of the volunteer clinic until it becomes sustainable. When we come to this clinic, we have to provide medical training, which is very important, from the experts recruited or alive. So we have Doctors Without Frontiers who came to our city, and they provided weekly small training sessions, and it was very important. It was like hands-on practicing, and we learned much from them. But now they are gone, so we need more experts to come to show us some new things and to train our youngsters. In future, we would like to provide future training at the European clinics, maybe for the best doctors, residents, and senior students of my team who performed well during the war as a bonus. Maybe it could be feasible for some of them now or in future. Free joining the conferences and networks. I opened this question in EGPRN during last meeting. I understand that Ukrainians will have very lack opportunity to join the networks because of some costs, costs they need. So I suppose some Ukrainian talented youngsters, they have to be supported with the free attendance of the conferences, free entering the networks, and it could be a very good opportunity for them to invest to the European networks. Hands-on training to be provided by visiting international experts. Those of you who are brave enough to come to our country, at least to the safest part, which is my town, you are very welcome to be here you are welcome to become international family medicine experts to give us hands-on training. And in future, when the international clinic, which I told you about, before, which could start its work, you are welcome to show us hands-on practicing, show us hands-on training with our refugees, and it could be a great opportunity for our young generation to learn from the foreign experts. Also, we can say that our heroic struggle against the Russian invasion is going on. Look at this interesting poster. It was exhibited just a few days on our main square of our city. It shows the flag of Ukraine, which was cut with this Z, which is the Russian symbol right now, Z. And it has a lot of cuts, as we have a lot of cuts on our souls right now. And do you see patches? These patches are symbolically shown with the flags of all your countries. My dear colleagues from the whole Europe, we are really grateful for these patches, which don't heal the whole wound, but which show us your support and which give us some small benefit to heal some small cuts and small invasions on our souls. We are still alive. We are still strong. We are still optimistic and unconquered. And we believe in our mutual victory. As we know, this is the world-known phrase which we have in Ukraine. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Glory to Ukraine and glory to heroes. Today, these are two phrases which we hear all over, everywhere, and we understand that they are meaningful for us. If you want to contact me, please use my email address. And I have I want to express my gratitude to the colleagues, to my friends from WONCA board for this opportunity to communicate with you and to speak out for the whole Europe, to share our pain with you. And maybe this pain is less now. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention, and I am ready to your questions.
Pavlo, thank you very much. Very, very good summary and update for us. And maybe our dear colleague who asked the first question, the Vice President of UEMO, Mary McCarthy, is asking, how can we best help doctors in Ukraine, especially general practitioners, family doctors? This is the question.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to hear this, and I know that there are still people who are still willing to help, and I appreciate this. So first of all, we started due to the support of WONCA members, due to the help of the WONCA authorities. We started our movement to make the international medical training clinic for the refugees and to become this project real. So, and in 3 months, we will move into this clinic. So there we will need more experts. There we will need some financial support. But still, I mean, today we have a lot. We have a space. We have a team. We have some money to buy some furniture and some equipment, but we still have to think about running costs and help the helpers. So, I mean, donations are always appreciated. The second question is that we need experts to come. And if you have this opportunity, please come. You are more than welcome. And the third way you could contribute, I suppose, this is this USEED project, which we started with Europe, which is the online education for doctors all over the whole Ukraine. Sometimes doctors lost their universities and institutes in some eastern regions. They have no contacts with other colleagues. They have no contacts with peers. That's why this USEED project, which is online education, could be a great opportunity to show this union of doctors, to show support of European doctors. So we started, and we had a very big opportunity to get this lectures from the lecturers. But now it's a technical question. how to translate this and how to provide this in Ukraine. So we need this also support from from Europe. And if there are some people who know Ukrainian, this could make it very easy to or maybe even Russian, so to translate the lectures which we already have. So we have more than 30 lectures prepared for this UC. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, this is the summary of all the questions which we have in our minds. I think, Thomas, would you like to ask something?
Yeah, I would just like to emphasize, because I personally do have the contact to 2 Ukrainian GPs which are here in Germany, which could perfectly support such projects like UCIT. And Pavlo, I would like to ask regarding the training options for Ukrainian, let's say, junior GPs or trainees. What do you think? How could this work? To what times, to what countries are you aiming?
Thank you, Thomas. Really, it's a good question. Now I can say that it is related to gender. Unfortunately, men are not allowed to cross the border. That's why I feel a bit very much upset not to be allowed to cross the border to meet my colleagues in the other countries. But women are allowed. So if there are some opportunities to invite our young ladies who are volunteers and who have been volunteering for 3 months already and who are going to be volunteers in future, if they're English speaking, I suppose it could be a great push, a great inspiration for them to get some news, to get some knowledge if they are invited to any of the European countries, because now it's possible from the Western Ukraine to travel for women and kids. But as for men, I can't say. Maybe after war, the young men could be also invited. And the other thing which I stressed on during my presentation, I would like to ask WONCA Europe to think about future opportunities to invite youngsters, young generation, English-speaking doctors, outstanding doctors who showed their volunteer spirit during the war, to invite them for free to join their networks. We need the fresh new blood of Ukrainian doctors, and we need your support of the young doctors. Once I was among these young doctors when WONCA invited me for the fellowship for the first time. It was long ago, almost 20 years ago. But for me, it was a great opportunity to meet all of you, to become friends with you. To my mind, it was an outstanding opportunity. But I want to not to be alone now. I want to strengthen the young generation of family doctors here.
Yeah.
I ask a question, Thomas,
yeah.
If there are no, first of all, questions from the audience, but if not, I can ask something. So, Pavlo, we are very appreciating your activity, but we want to see ways that you can suggest to increase and to spread it. You know, Oshgorod is one city, very important one, with the medical school and with Pavlo also. But, you know, we want to see, you know, seeds of your project in other cities, other villages around. Let's start around in your district, around your city. I think that it will be a great success if you will be able to recruit and to spread this project to other cities. I presume, as I understood, refugees prefer to stay in big cities and not in villages. So maybe you can choose one city not far away from you, where you have friends, and try to spread the project to give new energy to lift it up.
Thank you, Shlomo. Actually, now we already started this activity. I can't say that it is a very big activity, but we understand that refugees are not able to get accommodated in our city, and they are already allocated around the city, so in some villages. Actually, we have a very rural area in our region, so more rural area than towns or cities in the region. So we have young doctors who worked with us in our young team, and now they are going to go to the villages with the mobile teams of Doctors Without Frontiers. So they are English speaking. They could translate. They could learn from the Doctors Without Frontiers, and they could provide family medicine support in the villages. So this moment already started, and we have a feeling that in future we could cover these villages with refugees with the real family medicine help together with the foreign experts.
Yeah, just Thomas, there is a very good contribution by Tony. I think if you can transfer it. Yeah.
Yes, just Tony asked one question from the WHO European Center for Primary Healthcare currently are developing jointly with other WHO units and headquarters and other United Nations agencies a rapid assessment tool for primary healthcare service needs for refugees, but also for host country citizens. And he says this is piloted currently at the border between Moldavia and Ukraine, and hopes that this is useful. And Tony also asks, do you experience if host population and refugees get the same primary healthcare services? Are the needs of refugees different from host country population? What about mental health issues? There is data that mental health is one of the most prevalent problems.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Aaron, for the questions. Actually, as for these United Nations activities, we try to join the big organization like WHO and United Nations and other organizations. Unfortunately, we didn't get any reply. So I sent them our project, and unfortunately, it was not accepted by them, by this organization. Maybe we have to go forward with this. Maybe we need the support from WONCA to support us by the big organization. I understand that a lot of requests are coming from many places, but maybe we're also worth getting some feedback. So as for the equity of the primary care services for the refugees and for the host population, I can say that this is equal. Actually, people can get the same medical help, and now I can say that they could get a very good, high quality medical help provided by us, by the faculty members with a big experience, and also together with youngsters who could provide not worse help right now. The good thing is that the host population and refugees have an opportunity to get access to the state free medication system, for example, and state free referral system. For example, if you come with hypertension or diabetes or hepatitis B or C or whatever, you have a free access to the medication whenever you are now. You need just the family doctor's prescription and referral, and it works here pretty well. If they get access to us, they will definitely get this free treatment. This is despite of their living place. If you are a refugee or if you are Uzbek citizen, you will definitely get this free access. Not every disease is possible to cover with this state support, but some diseases are possible. And we have one more option, which is a very generous option from some church, which offered us to make some topical, like individual help to people with the very, very severe diseases. For example, if we need this oncological treatment or some cardiovascular, very hard diseases, and they need some special treatment, which is not covered by the government, we could provide this for free using the funds from the church, which is also an opportunity and option for these people. So I can say sometimes refugees could get even better help comparing with the local citizens in some ways. As for mental health, we have a lot of problems with psychological distress, and it's understandable. people survived a lot of stress and a lot of crisis in their life. We understand that some of them lost their family members, some of them lost their houses. They have no houses anymore, and they have no place to go back. But some of them cope. It's interesting to show you that, to tell you that very big number of people, they could cope with this very big psychological disaster. And we have only maybe 20-30%, I can't tell you exactly the number, but out of 100, 30% will get this distress. 70% will cope. It's interesting. And we see that there are some victims among kids, which is really very, very big problem. So for example, kids would have aneurysms. These are very, very common problems in my practice. So they would have this sucking thumb in their age, which is not typical for their age, or they would have some insomnia, very typical, or nightmares. This is very important to know because we need them to be supported by the psychologists, and we don't have enough psychologists. Maybe some people from abroad would come to support these kids in psychotherapy, because really children's psychotherapy is very important and not very, very understandable here. We have some psychologists, children's psychologists, but I am not sure about their quality. We need the support of children who survived the disaster.
Okay, thank you, Pavlo, for responding. By the way, I just did email you the email address of Tony upon his request, so you can get in touch with him.
Thank you.
And can just agree that mental health issues are very important. We are also supporting, as you know, by developing PTSD screening tool. Aaron is asking, you asked for experts to come to Ukraine. However, Ukrainians are also experts in many areas. Do you have thoughts on how Ukrainian colleagues could also share their lived and gained clinical experience and knowledge? I think this is a very important question because Ukrainian colleagues currently have experiences, unfortunately, which nearly no other colleagues have in Europe.
A very good question. Actually, we also thought about invitation of experts from abroad, but now, unfortunately, we become experts in some unique areas like war and disaster, and now we can share a lot of things. For example, I can say that I'm sharing my own experience and my team's experience with the European community in my short releases, which I send from time to time, weekly or every several weeks. I suppose this is something which could be could give some update information about the situation here. Also, I share the experience about our projects activities and about medical data. So, and I suppose it's possible during WONCA conference, for example, EURACT meetings and so on. So this is the way I do it. So, we were surprised when our colleagues from US and from Europe, from the Doctors Without Frontiers, they came to Ukraine and they taught us their way of practicing, and we taught them our way. So it was a very nice exchange of different ways of organization. For example, I have a very interesting example. They came to us showing how to organize medical help in, let's say, in the shelter or in some not specially fit place. But it's not in such place right now in Uzhhorod, for example. We have some settings which is possible to organize a better way of medical help. So which we are doing, and so that's why we showed our way how we do it in a better settings, and so on. I suppose a lot of things could be shown and could be exchanged, and maybe in future we could make more collaborative networks, maybe some joint projects together. So it is also an option, and hopefully when we are allowed to go abroad from the safe country which has got victory, hopefully we will be able to share our experience with the whole world. But again, I want more people, more doctors to be invited to different networks to spread this information. We have a lot of talented youngsters, and we need to move forward.
So thank you, Pavlo. We did hear your appeal regarding this exchange, and especially regarding supporting the young physicians, the young GPs. Currently, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in the chat or in the Q&A session. I just would like to give advice to the auditory that the whole webinar will be online as a podcast and will be available through the WONCA Europe website and through social media. And maybe Shlomo, you have some closing remarks for this session.
Yes, thank you, Pavlo. And I would like to announce here to all our audience, and you can spread it among your friends, that we this year will dedicate the WONCA Open meeting in London to the Ukrainian situation. Of course, Pavlo will be one of the speakers, and we hope to have at least another 2 speakers from Ukraine, and we will talk and discuss about the situation, and especially in what we can help further to our colleagues in Ukraine. So we are all invited to London. You are all invited especially to this open meeting, and it will be recorded, and if you will not have the opportunity, you may catch up it later.
Thank you, Shlomo. I wish I could be in London in real time, but let's say at least online. So thank you for this honor to be invited there. I couldn't even imagine to become a keynote speaker on WONCA meeting just maybe 10 years ago, but now it's the real situation. Thank you for this invitation. Thank you very much.
So I think this is time for us to finalize. We already had 15 minutes more than we scheduled, but this is a very important topic. And thank you very much because you have a lot of things to do, and you are not in normal times for sure. Pavlo, this is good to have the information and update from first hand from you. And it's very nice to be together with you tonight. Thank you for participations for all of our colleagues, and thanks to our president and president-elect also. And I think we are over now. Good luck, and we are supporting.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All the best. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.